But you got to figure things out, including the most important player has got to be able to screw his head on right, which I don't know if he ever will, to be quite honest. It's the press conference that Tua had this week was incredibly depressing, is what it was. Tua's press conference today was 2 days ago was just depressing. Depressing because he doesn't understand where he's at. And that was sad, dude. It was sad because this is the best quarterback you've had since Marino. You could easily win with this kid. One, you've got to coach it up right and build it right, which they're not doing. And then two, more importantly, Tua has to kind of do all the right things too, which he fails to do constantly. And I thought the media let him off the hook. I think at one moment, I think it was Hal Habib that said, what can you do that you haven't done already? And I kind of almost lost my shit when Hal said that, because I was like, what do you mean he hasn't done already? Stop running into people. Stop trying to tackle people. Stop trying to dive head first. I just saw Cameron Wolf post a video right now showing Michael Penix's playmaking ability, how he runs outside into the corner and he dives head first into the end zone. I retweeted his tweet and I said, yeah, that's not really a character trait I want with my quarterback. There's Michael Penix, a young athletic quarterback. Bro, diving head first, that's not the way you have a long career. You're Michael Penix. You're a small guy. You're not even a big guy. You shouldn't even be even if you're Cam Newton, you shouldn't be diving head first. But at least if you're Cam Newton, you don't want to get in the way of. You better be a big person to get in the way of diving Cam Newton. So at least you have that. But smaller players, bro, they're going to take shots at you. Disagree. You know what I mean? Those are the problems that we have. This is why we were all idiots when we used to pick on Ted Ginn. Oh, he's running out of bounds. Yeah, well, he played 14 years because he ran out of bounds. Because he didn't, I got to get that extra yard or two. Let me put my shoulder in there. Let me put my head and shoulder in. He's like, no, hell no, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. He's the smart one. We were the idiots telling him to, stay in bound, take another hit. You kind of learn that you only get so many hits. And if you're not a big guy, which Ted Ginn isn't, that's not what you want to do. Know your limitations. It's those are things that it's just crazy. By the way, remember our program proudly sponsored by R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. Ray and Mike do phenomenal work. If you live here in South Florida, Ray and Mike can help you out. Complete remodel, kitchen upgrades with the appliances and all, waterproofing, terrace, balcony, flood test report. Very important for condo owners here in South Florida. You have enough issues there as condo owners. And if you need to upgrade your condo or anything like that, call R&M Contractors. They can take it to the next level for you. Bathroom upgrades, floor restorations, maintenance, drywall, level 5 finish. Ray and Mike do exceptional work. Their work, you can see it on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island on Instagram. Check out all their work, man. They will take your home, your business to the next level. R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. Sean Stanley, give me the inactives for today, sir.
All right. Number 6, linebacker, Anthony Walker. Oh, my goodness. That's a new one.
Anthony, always injured, Walker.
Mohammed, inactive Kamara. Andrew, inactive Meyer. Braden Daniels. That's a new one to the list. D. Eskridge, which is obvious for reasons. And Eric
Ezukama. I just want to call him the Eskimo. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And Eric Ezukama, of course, Tua is also on the list.
Maybe I should call him the Speed Eskimo. Since Eskridge, Eskimo, he's a fast guy. He's the Speed Eskimo. Okay. All right. Is Tua the emergency third quarterback?
It says nothing, although I was looking to see if they did have him as like the third quarterback.
All
But
right.
Kirk did send out the video again of Skyler and Snoop warming up with Bevel, no Tua on the field.
Yeah, of course. Tua wasn't going to. I knew Tua wasn't going to play right from the get-go. I told you guys that from the get-go. He's out. And he's out, I think, for next week, even if they make it. But let's get to the Tua sound bites. First of all, when talking that he was asked about making the injury worse if he plays. Okay. And I want you to listen to the man explain what would happen and what the doctors are saying and his reaction to it all. Here's Tua Tagovailoa addressing the media on Thursday.
I don't know if anything could be worse than what it is, right now. But I mean, I don't know. This is just what the doctors are telling me is right for myself and things of that nature. But I want to be out there. That's for sure. I want to be out there, but it's just a risk for myself and to be out there. And if something were to happen again, that's what it is.
He wants to be out there. Listen to the contradiction and the ignorance. Okay. Oh, no, it's me. I want to be out there. You can't be out there. The doctors don't want you out there. You can further injure your hip. I want you now to listen to Ian Rapaport describe, and clearly he's getting this from the team side, because the agent is not going to give that up on his own player if the player is talking about wanting to play next week for sure and all that kind of crap that he said. Oh, for sure, I'm playing if we're in the playoffs and all that. Listen to Ian Rapaport and his report just this morning talking about Tua Tagovailoa's injury status. Go ahead, Sean.
For his next trip to Peru if the Jets win. And it does get a little easier for them because Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins starting quarterback, not expected to play today, dealing with what has been described to me as a painful and unique hip injury. It is affecting the muscle in the hip, and it has limited significantly his strength and mobility. He is, I'm told, at risk of further injury if he plays, which is why, Rich, he has not been cleared. If he plays before the swelling goes down, that muscle could tear further. And from what I am told, he is very much up in the air for next week if the Dolphins advance.
Tua say he wants to play. So obviously the agent's not giving out that kind of information. So it's limiting. He could further hurt it. He could do some real damage to it. And here's Tua telling you, oh, no, for sure, I'm going to play next week. It just... Okay, let's continue with the ignorance of Tua Tagovailoa. Here he is describing the injury, comparing it, because when they asked him to compare it to the Alabama injury, okay? Sean, let's play this doozy.
Not necessarily. The one in Alabama was definitely a lot different. But I would say this is probably the more challenging one that I had to go through out of all the injuries with my ankle, like playing a week out of surgery. Like it wasn't as bad as what this one feels like.
So this is more challenging than the hip. It's worse than the ankle. But no, I'll be ready next week. No, for sure, I'm going to play. This guy's a fucking psycho. He's a psycho. I love the kid, but he's a psycho. He has no awareness at all, dude. I don't know what it is. He has to prove to us that he's, Mr. Stud, and I don't get any of this. I don't get anything from Tua. I don't understand this at all. Okay, now he's asked about how to handle the injury and the approach of it, and maybe in the offseason, all of that. Again, here's another doozy from Tua Tagovailoa. Go ahead, Sean.
I think that's something to think about this offseason. That's something to talk with the coaches. And essentially, it just falls on my plate, just protecting myself better and things that I already know.
You got to talk with the coaches. Yeah. It's all on you, dude. You keep doing stupid shit. And all the stupid shit you do stops you from playing and helping your team. And look what's going on. The Dolphins, by the way, are now a 1.5-point underdog. They started the week on Monday favored by 2.5. This has happened twice in one season to the Dolphins, where they've gone from the favorites to the dogs. Swings, like massive swings that you never see in betting. Massive swings here. I love the kid. You guys know this. I believe in the kid as a passer. But the injury stuff, he refuses to take care of himself. And you saw the report by Ian Rapaport. I think this is a counter to that press conference to kind of like, and maybe the agent places a call to the front office and like, hey, man, what's going on with all this information that's out there? Because normally they don't talk. Normally you don't get that kind of information. So either the agent is doing it on purpose to protect his client, and because since his client won't protect him from himself, which I doubt that, or it's the Dolphins like, this kid doesn't get it. We need him for next year, and he's thinking about playing next week, even if we somehow get in. An unathletic, injured quarterback who refuses to take care of himself, you're going to put him in where he can do major damage to his hip? How stupid can you be? It's just there's a lack of understanding and awareness coming from Tua that it's frustrating. I got to tell you, because he's a smart kid. He's a beautiful human being. But my God, how can you be so catastrophically stupid? How can you not see what's right in front of you, dude? I don't understand that. How do you not see it? Total lack of awareness. Again, play the Ian Rapaport report again and listen to how he describes how bad the Tua injury is. And this kid, remember last week when they talked about when McDaniel described it, I said, oh, you think he's going to be ready in a week? Hell no, he's out. Remember, I told you that right away. He's out. Okay, now listen to Rapaport. Go ahead. One more time, Sean, please.
For his next trip to Peru if the Jets win. And it does get a little easier for them because Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins starting quarterback, not expected to play today, dealing with what has been described to me as a painful and unique hip injury. It is affecting the muscle in the hip, and it has limited significantly his strength and mobility. He is, I'm told, at risk of further injury if he plays, which is why, Rich, he has not been cleared. If he plays before the swelling goes down, that muscle could tear further. And from what I am told, he is very much up in the air for next week if the Dolphins advance.
Why? At this point, they've learned their lesson. They put Chubb on ice. They've learned their lesson. They're not going to allow Tua to play next week. Tua's dumbass would want to play next week because he's a psycho. He's an absolute psycho. We have learned that. Okay? I don't get it, but his machismo thing, I don't know what it is. Whatever. But you got to protect him from him. And if you have to do that, there's no future. he has no future in this league. He will knock himself out eventually. In the next year or two, he's done. So you got to deal with him for the next 2 years anyway, because you're stuck like Chuck because of the salary. And so maybe that's what he does. He plays reckless, and he knows he's got 2 years before he gets let go, and then he's done. Or he gets smart and he starts to play like he played last year for the next 2 years, and he proves, okay, and now you got something. But it's hard to, since college, all we've known is he wrapped his ankle in a titanium bar and played the week later. You heard him. Played a week after the ankle injury. That guy blew out both his ankles and he wrapped them with titanium bars. He's a psycho. He's fearless. He doesn't give a shit what happens to him. He's not thinking about anything else. He just wants to play. But the problem is he doesn't understand that he has to learn how to play the right way. If Marino tried to play like that, he wouldn't have lasted in the league. He would have been out right away. If Breeze tries to play like that too, out of the league right away. He'll have the same issues. But those guys were a lot smarter than Tua. It's amazing, right? You blow out your hip, you wrap titanium bars around your ankles. You've had all these injuries, concussions, and everything, and you still don't get it. You don't get it. When you blow out your hip, 2 fat guys caught up to you. If defensive linemen are catching you, hint, hint, kid, you're not athletic. Defensive lineman could catch Marino, could catch him, pass him, and run past him in a 40-yard dash. All linemen would beat Marino by 30 yards. You think Marino's going to try to outrun people or something? I mean, go watch Marino, my favorite player of all time. Couldn't move. But he knew what his limitations. This kid thinks he doesn't have any limitations. And listen to Rapaport describe the limitations on his hip, and the guy wants to play next week. I don't know. I don't know how you combat stupid.